Hello and welcome to week 3 Q&A Friday for the lighter start 2024 lighter. Next time I'm coming up with a more succinct title, Mind, Body, and Soul. So I'm excited to have you here. If you're watching the replay, lean in because I just know there's going to be some great information shared. There's going to be some great questions. I already have some in the pre-submit questions. So I'm excited to get into it. And I have some announcements at the end. So hang around until then. All right. So I'm just going to start with the pre-submitted question, which I received today. Let me just see if I can pull it out because I was just in the, I was sending everyone an email with the actual links. And here it is. So what do you do? Submitted by Karen James. What do you do if you're not hungry, but you need to eat? So that is difficult because when a lot of times we get busy. If I don't set timers, like every morning I sit down, I look at my calendar, I see what's coming down the pipe. I see breakfast is always a no-brainer. I always get that done, no problem. But I need to schedule when I'm going to get my protein shake. If I've got back-to-back meetings, I make my protein shake at breakfast. And sometimes I just do it if I have time and I'm not I have a little extra time. So I set a time for my protein shake, and then I set some sort of general time for lunch. Like I said, my meetings are different every day. So I never know, I can't have a fixed time every day. But, generally I eat about every 2.5 hours, 3 at the max. And then a time for my afternoon snack. Sometimes, sometimes I just can't have time to grab an apple, but I'm just getting something into me. And then dinner time as well. So those 5 things I schedule into my daily routine, especially those 3 in the middle. Now, am I hungry always? Because I'm like, working, creating, doing all the fun things. I'm not always hungry, but I know that my body needs it. So, especially to keep your blood sugar level throughout the day. Now, intermittent fasting, remember, that's a window. It doesn't mean to eat and then not eat for a long period of time and then eat again. It means that you have set times. So for me, I was for a while there, I was doing 7:30 to 7:30, and that worked really well. 12 hours. I mean, you think that would, but and then as people go along, they shrink it. I mean, some people go extreme and have like one giant meal in the middle of the day, and I don't really get that. And my coffee house barista guy eats just at bed at nighttime. He doesn't eat all day. He looks like $1 million. It works for him, but for most ordinary humans, keeping your blood sugar level is kind of important, especially when you're on a weight loss journey. You can dabble with all those other things, but you want to make sure it's sustainable. He's been doing that for years. I like to stick with what's just regular. And so I eat from 7:30 to 7:30. So that just gives me bumper rails where to keep it in. But you want to eat consistently throughout that time. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not always hungry. I'm not always hungry when I'm going to get my daughter from school or like at 2 p.m. where I have Greek yogurt and granola. So sometimes it's not, the thing is, you don't want to starve yourself. Because even though you're not having hunger cues, it's probably because maybe, you've had a lot of water, you're distracted, your mind's somewhere else. So you're not feeling super hungry, but your body does need nutrients. So for my advice is to set those timers. Like I said, every morning, like a Rain Man, I sit down and I look at my calendar because things crop up like meetings and one-on-one, people get into my Calendly and they book things. So then I have to plan I look every morning to see what's coming. People can't book more than 24 hours in advance. So that's good because then things aren't cropping up as the day go on. So I have some semblance of order, but that is what I do. And it works really well. And other, people do that as well. So even when you're not hungry. So when you say you're not hungry, to get back to your question, do you mean like you'll feel sick if you eat, or what is it? What does it look like?
So yeah, it feels like I can see where you're saying and stuff like that because I do drink a lot of water and stuff like that throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get my breakfast in without a problem, and I can force myself like last night to eat my dinner.
Yeah.
But my lunch and that midday stuff, yeah, yesterday and today, I'm like, finally, I just had to sit down and I'm like, I have to eat something because I know I need to eat something to keep my blood
Mhm.
sugar up.
Yeah.
But I just am like, yeah, it's just not there.
So if you can't eat a lot and you don't feel like eating, do you feel nauseous or you just like, ugh, it just,
Yeah, it's just, ugh, it's just like, and then when I do eat, it's kind of like crampy. It's kind of like it sets weird and stuff like that. It's just like
mm. So
why did I just do that to myself?
so what do you eat? Like, what would that look like in the middle of the day?
Like today I had a sandwich, just
Mm,
a ham and cheese sandwich and
that's
stuff.
pretty heavy.
So, well, and I had it on a like a hamburger bun versus a bread and stuff.
Mm, yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. But I just ate it at like from my time it was 2 o'clock, and
Hmm.
I've been up since 8.
Right. I'm
So
thinking, yeah.
it's like I ate my
You had
breakfast this
breakfast.
morning. Yeah, I ate my breakfast this morning, and I
Hmm.
was fine. And I'm like, but then again, I know that from now until dinner time, I'm got other stuff going on. So I knew I had to stop and finally eat something. But it's just like,
That is good. So let's look at what you're eating because the bread can be really heavy. You may have a sensitivity because you're eating cleaner. That
mm,
may be something that you want to check in with. Now, the ham and cheese is great. It's sources of protein. Um, and what kind of cheese?
it was a Colby Jack.
Okay, so like real cheese, not
Yes,
like
yeah.
American plastic cheese.
No, it
That's what
wasn't.
I call
No,
it.
I actually stopped buying that American plastic cheese because it started. I was faithful to it, and then somebody said American plastic cheese, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, started looking at it, and I was like, oh, that really is plastic.
It looks the same as when you melt plastic. I'm just
Yeah,
saying. Like I can't like whenever I get a burger and I say, is it real cheese, like sliced cheese? And they say yes, and then it comes out and it looks like they melted some saran wrap, some orange saran wrap over. I'm like,
yeah,
this is not real cheese. And then I'm that person.
yeah.
But so something alternative might be like lettuce, like
Okay.
doing lettuce, something that's more is lighter. It takes less for your body to digest because grains are going to have a higher digestion point. So I used to have oatmeal like after my workout
Mhm.
to replenish carbohydrates with nuts and berries and all the things. I mean, I did that for years. But I'd always feel sleepy and I feel heavy. And then I realized, okay, this actually doesn't agree with me because it was like giving me it was too much. It was too heavy. And so then I switched to just greens and protein, eggs, some sort of meat source, like sliced beef or even chicken. Although I get kind of weirded out about eating eggs and chicken together. It's like I'm slaughtering a family. But anyway, so but that's mental. So something and then some greens on some sort. And then I don't like
Okay.
so try to eliminating bread, which I know you've made some really great choices in switching things out. And this might have to be your next, not have to be, but I would advise your next switch out. So again, you don't want small things like a snack could be a handful of nuts, like some almonds, maybe a little trail mix or something.
Okay.
Just get something, just so your blood sugar doesn't plummet. It doesn't have to be like a meal, just something that's
Mm,
consistent. Those little yogurts, like little Greek yogurts,
okay.
something that's gonna because I think the bread might be aggravating you, especially if it's a lot. And are you on medication?
Yeah.
Are you medicated? Should be medicated. Yeah, and so
Totally medicated.
what's that?
I said I'm totally medicated,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I just self-medicate. Just kidding. But yeah, and that might have, that heaviness because I think what you're on, inhibits it suppresses your appetite a little bit. So it's
Mhm.
gonna feel awkward. So sticking to real food, like mostly unprocessed food, is gonna really help. I heard this really cool thing the other day thing about like how, you have vegans saying like, well, when I cut out meat, I felt like $1,000,000, everything, my whole life changed. I started thinking clear, losing weight, feeling great, everything. And then you got the total carnivores on the other side. It was like, when I cut out all grains and greens, I just went full meat. I feel amazing. And he said like, you can't argue. The main point is they're cutting out processed food. Like, so processed food, it's empty calories. It's your body's not, a lot of times the things we're eating you don't even recognize as food. Like someone, and it's always touted as healthy. Someone posted in the group, carb smart, and I said, what's in that? And it was just chemicals. It was just it was like 0 carbs, but it was just a list of chemicals. And I'm thinking, your body's not recognizing this as real food. First of all, it doesn't know what to do with it, because we're millennia old in the evolution of beings. And so our body doesn't know how to process these things. So you may be getting 0 carbohydrates, but what are you getting? That's always my question. It's like, you're saving on this, but what am I getting in return? Am I getting, it's like, what's behind door number 2? And I don't really want to know. So is that something you could do? Like, my burgers these days are wrapped in lettuce, and they're delicious because I love I'm actually salivating thinking about it. We might have to do.
Yeah, it's totally something I can do, because it's something I need to try and figure out, because I have cut out some of the carb stuff in the morning and stuff like that. And I just need to continue through the rest of the day and see where it goes, and kind of go that route with it, and just, but it's just something that is an ongoing thing, I guess.
No. Do you like Greek yogurt?
Oh, I love Greek yogurt. That's what I've substituted some of my breakfast for, is I'll do a Greek yogurt, a little bit of granola or whatnot. And then, normally in the Greek yogurt, I have like, it's strawberries or some kind of other fruit and stuff like that that's with it. And then, so every once in a while I'll pair it up with a banana on the side and stuff like that. So, I mean, I totally have gone into that, but I'm like, haven't thought about doing
next step
more Greek yogurt later in the day either. I've always limited it to 1 per day. So I've not thought about it for more than 1.
Getting those protein sources, like I said, peppering it through the day is so much easier. That's why how to stay healthy on the go is good. Like what snacks to have on hand. Today I left my workout and I'm like, I didn't put any in my gym bag. I was like, you're going straight home, you're going to be fine. Like, don't panic.
And I do start my day with my protein drink, or my protein in my water. So, I mean, I know I'm getting the protein there. I'm just, just that lunchtime. And if I really feel like if I ate breakfast and I ate dinner, I would be fine. But I know that I have to eat something in the middle, because
it doesn't have to be. No, I hear you. Because because that's a big span of time. And I mean, other nutrition coaches may argue with me, but I know that it results, what happens is your blood sugar drops. Then that results in a kind of a cloudy thought process. Then you just want carbohydrate, like the not great carbohydrates. Then I'm in my pantry going like, where are those crackers I bought for that? The ones you threw out because they were 6 months old. So so just maintaining, like I said, nuts, seeds. I mean, you're not a bird, but like Greek yogurt, like little simple real food. Like I said, lunch doesn't have to be, remember eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. That was always what my mom taught me. Except my mom didn't get the low fat memo. Because she did low fat. I'm not a proponent of low fat. Eat all the fat. But like an avocado, I don't know if you like avocado. Eggs.
I had that on my sandwich today. I make sure I have at least half of an avocado every day. So
you could do like a lettuce. Even just, so I use I went to Costco yesterday and got my sourdough bread, because it's made from a starter, so it's legit sourdough, because real bread just blows me up. It hurts my joints, the whole thing. So I slice, but it's not sliced. So I slice it real thin. I have real sharp knife, and I slice it really thin. And And it's like the best invention since sliced bread. It's like, yeah, you have no control over how much bread you're eating. So if you need to have bread, like just have less of it, you know? But
Okay.
I think because of that heaviness, I think that might be a good place to start for you to eliminate that for now, if you're comfortable with that, or at least reduce the amount and just really
Yeah.
focus on those real foods, you know, the things that like
Okay.
the things that come from from a plant, not out of a plant, as the saying goes, but you know, and that goes for like lean proteins and whatnot, that sort of thing. I
Okay.
like that you're starting with protein in your water. And the other thing you said was, now that your stitches are out, I'm happy to get back and do more walks. Yes, it was hard because I can't lift more than 5 pounds, so having a hard time getting workout in. So where are you at with that?
That's kind of where I'm at right now is we have gone for more walks
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So we've definitely, it's getting there. I just can't fully, I mean, you can kind of see the little scar
Yeah.
that's there. So, the little nastiness, but I mean, it's getting there. I'm in physical therapy, so I'm
That's
gonna
good.
be able to close my hand eventually, but not just
Yeah.
quite yet. But I just can't lift a whole lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like I can't go and use the bands or anything yet because
Mhm.
those are still too much on me on this hand. So I really have to be careful with that. And so
There's a lot of
yeah, I'm
body
just
weight
kind of
things to do.
stuck
And
like
movement,
that. Yeah.
yeah, don't underestimate the power of movement because just getting up and walking right now, just focus on getting your walks in, getting your steps in
Okay.
like you were before, because that's
Okay.
going to help you feel successful. You're going to have, there's a lady in my group. She was said, she goes, I tell everyone in the group, she's in the challenge. And she said, I've just been focused on doing 10,000 steps every day. She's retired. And so she's been doing 10,000 steps and she went to her cardiologist because she had, AFib or something in February, like a
Mm.
heart issue. And she said, well, what restricts she won't let her heart go above 110. And God, I do that breathing. My heart rate is like a rabbit. And she goes, and she said, you're fine, no restrictions. And I'm like, that was just from walking. So that's
Okay.
amazing. That's a huge change just from walking. So getting back onto your steps, that focus your energy there because I think it's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be
Okay. Yeah.
yes, get a strength back in your hand and also going to step up my walking. That's your goal. Awesome. Yeah. So just focus on
Yeah.
that. You're doing great. So real foods, focus on your walking.
Okay.
That's you going forward. Awesome. Thanks, Karen. That was
Perfect. No problem. Thank you.
sweet. You're so welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? How was your week? Any wins you want to share? What's happening? Leanne? Is that a gaming chair?
I think I've been sick for a week and a half.
Ugh.
Because I'm like, my voice is still cruddy, but I'm doing much better.
That's good.
Um,
What have you been doing to
well, the thing is, it's kind of rolled in slowly. Like I thought I was getting sick, but then I wasn't really sick. And then
yeah.
for a couple days while everyone else was getting like really sick, and then it kind of hit me. I mean, I was tired, but not really symptoms sick. And then I did get sick on last Friday, so it's been a week.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is and I hosted Thanksgiving. So the rest was difficult. I mean, I couldn't rest. Like seriously, I didn't snack or anything Wednesday and third, like I lost weight during the prep and Thanksgiving Day. Like I lost weight. 'Cause I mean, it was like 2 pounds, but I was happy with that. And I'm like, I need to not go back to like where I just sit. And I did way over my goal of steps because I was just like circling my kitchen
Oh yeah, right.
round
Yeah.
and around my island like I do when I'm in there working. So this last week I took I guess yesterday was my slowest day and I think I got maybe 8,000 steps.
That's awesome.
My slowest day because I sat and did nothing. I mean,
I was like, what am I at so far today? I'm at 69.
now I know my step counter is slightly off, so that's not all steps.
Mhm.
But I know that for me is that's me being very fairly active still. So
Yeah, no, that's great.
um
I mean, 8,000 steps, 10,000 it's amazing. When I was running boot camp, I'd have 10,000 steps before 10 a.m. because I'd run my 4:45 a.m. camp and then my 9:15 camp. And then I'm like, yeah, I was like never a problem. And then I
Most
started
of
doing
last week. So my mom coming here, she has a lot of allergies. So
Mhm.
all I was making was real food because she can't have anything processed pretty much.
Good. Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, there's no way for you to, well, besides the French fries, there's no way for you to eat unhealthy. Her French fries and her cookies that she, um,
Yeah.
so, Thanksgiving meal, like there's food that some people want to eat,
Yeah.
like potatoes and gravy, and then there's like, okay, Mom, this is stuff that you can eat, and this is stuff I'm eating because I made it.
Well, so what was it? What did you make?
Well, I do with sweet potatoes and apples, and
Oh,
it's really simple because for her to eat it, so it was pretty much just roasted sweet potatoes and apples, and then a drizzle of maple syrup on it was the.
you put cinnamon or anything in there?
Yeah, I think there was cinnamon. There was I forget exactly. It was a lot simpler than the one I used to make that she could eat that had like some apple juice in it and stuff. I just
Oh
wanted
yeah.
something a little bit more simpler because it was like I don't want to do all this work.
Yeah, right.
And then
Well, that
just
sounds good.
some sauteed vegetables that had some seasoning. So
Uh-huh.
like no green bean casserole because she can't, I mean, like she can't eat it. And I'm like, no one else is gonna eat it either because none of my family eats anything green. So like why they won't eat green beans? I'm like, no matter what you put on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm not making that. I'm gonna have it for you. So
Oh,
this was just carrots and zucchini sauteed with oil, like with olive oil and a few different seasonings. And I thought it turned out really well. She really liked it. And I'm like, great.
that's great.
I mean,
You know,
everyone had that. That's like the only, I mean, cooked vegetable I did.
yeah.
And it
No,
was enough to live off for a couple more days. So
but that's great. And but did anybody like suffer? Were they
no, because I still made the my stepmother-in-law made the potatoes and gravy. I'm like, if they gotta have potatoes and gravy, I didn't eat any of that, and it's still in my fridge, and I'm gonna throw it out soon because it's already been a week.
I tossed the potatoes today and I realized I didn't leave any potatoes for the lady from my little Filipino mama. I was like, oh my God, I didn't leave her any potatoes. And I didn't eat any when I came home because I can't eat potatoes. I don't know. I was very tired, but that's good though. You
And
didn't
they
just
had,
eat
yeah, and the
just didn't eat it.
stuffing, I mean, the stuffing I make or dressing, I guess it goes separate, is has apples in it.
Yeah, I love that.
So, and I mean, I just didn't, there was no worry of me overeating on that day because I was too busy
Yeah.
doing all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But then I
Yeah.
had to worry about it wasn't, and then we were sick. Then I was sick Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, and I sat around, but I still had to get up and make sure my mom, like every time we went to eat a meal, like I had to make sure she was eating the food that she could eat,
Yeah.
getting her separate from everyone else, and then making food for extra people for a
yeah.
week. So
What
I mean, and all the cleanup and everything with all those meals. So it was just a busy week. So then going back to school was crazy and being off school. So that finally when my parents left, I'm like, you know what? I don't need to fix my house all in one day. Like
yes,
I'm
I
still
love
not done the
that.
laundry. I have to still wash the sheets from the guest bed because I ran out of stuff to do laundry, so I had to go to the
Yeah.
store.
It's always the way.
But I mean, so I was still doing, I felt tired a couple days, and so I kind of didn't like when I felt okay, I did a workout, and when I was extra tired, I did. So today's workout was me dragging all the Christmas stuff out of the attic,
That's a
which
workout.
is a workout because my heart rate got up because I was going up and down the attic stairs and I'm lugging these heavier containers down. I knew it would be a workout. So I'm like, you know what? That's going to be good.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, you're the poster, you're officially the poster child of making things work and seeing what you're doing
Because I
versus
was
what you're not
sore
doing.
from what I did yesterday. So I was like, and technically it was supposed to be like a rest day. And I'm like, but the day before I was supposed to do something and I did do a rest day because of, I don't know, the schedule and stuff. So I'm like, instead of totally skipping it, I was like, well, today's workout is taking stuff out of the attic. No, it's just sitting in my front entry. I mean, over there, I haven't unpacked a thing, but it's down.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. My front entrance looks like Amazon depot. like I look like I'm waiting for people to come pick up their stuff. And no, but that's exactly it. Like you're saying, like, I did this today. I'm not sweating it. Like normally I would be freaking out, but I got other things to do. So I'll get to it tomorrow. And that's okay. So I love the way you're framing things, and you're not taking, and you didn't get to rest really while everybody was there, but then afterwards you're like, no, I'm good. I don't have to kill myself. So that's awesome. I love that so much that you took that time, and you recognize Christmas morning. Yeah, I got like 12,000 steps on the weekend just decorating the house, just walking around the house. It was crazy. So that's awesome. And I was going to ask you, how come your mom has those dietary restrictions, if I may ask?
Oh, well, she's oh my gosh, she has a lot of health things all her life. I mean, she's been always allergic to dairy.
Mm.
Like she found out and landed in the hospital in her
Oh, wow.
teens or something like that. So she's always had the dairy allergy. And then she has like I don't know, irritable bowel
IBS.
syndrome or
Yeah.
something. And so there's a bunch of restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is she a
mean,
high stress
and then
person?
she kind of just goes by uh like she goes gluten free, but it's not gluten that's really the problem, but
Yeah.
pretty
I
much
just learned that. Yeah.
it's like a whey protein, but so pretty much everything gluten free doesn't have that in it, so she kind of
Yeah.
just sticks to
Yeah. Yeah.
gluten free. And
Right.
but then
Yeah.
she also doesn't eat thing like she watches acidity levels and of foods and some other things that just will bother her, so she doesn't
Mm.
eat corn or
The
I guess
invincible
now she doesn't
kernel.
eat celery for some reason, and peas.
Okay.
Some things that give her like canker sores in her mouth, so she just
Oh.
stays away from some of that.
Is she a high
Um,
stress person?
I'm sorry.
Is she a high stress person?
Um, no.
I was just thinking because sometimes IBS is brought on by stress, like internalized stress.
Yeah, well, maybe. But I mean, and then she's always had not always, but most like the last 20 years or more, she's always had to watch different things that she could eat or not
Yeah,
eat.
yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because and it's good to know, like I said, I'm still paying for the price of having those potatoes last week. And I mean it just doesn't go away. And luckily it's superficial, except it's not superficial because it's showing up on my skin, but that's an indication that something's going on in my gut. So it's been like, so now I'm having sauerkraut and my things to try and take care of the flora in my gut health and trying to get back on track because I was like, I'm having all the potatoes. So, but it's really great that your mom knows that. It's unfortunate that you have to make all the special foods, but it sounded like it was pretty good though. Like, wasn't like, cardboard or fake food. So that's
Well,
really,
and then the thing is, the problem runs into that my parents are from the Midwest. And I mean, I am too, but spicy to them is things that are seasoned. So,
salt and pepper.
and I appreciate seasoning. So sometimes
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, um, so
It's funny because
that
my my
can
uh
be
my niece
challenging.
yeah, my niece worked in a predominantly it was a restaurant. It was owned by an Asian family. And they'd say, well, how spicy you want it? It's like, she's a white girl. Just give her salt and pepper. Though. It's so terrible. But it's just like, I can eat a little more spice than that. But she does look pretty white. But yeah, that's funny because I mean, it's what you grow up with. And I mean, I like spicy on everything. I like to break out into a
I
nice
don't need to do that, but I mean, I appreciate like you can taste
seasonings.
some seasoning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, so that would be a challenge, but no seasoning. God, I love seasoning of spices. That's the thing. When you start to eat healthy, you really start to see the value of herbs, spices. Like I have okay, I'm excited, y'all. I brought Black Friday. I bought this um organizer because I don't have I have weird cupboards, but it's like U-shaped. You can put all your spices on there. Okay, I'm really excited because I'm always like looking for things. And but like, cumin and I have this one, it's like it's an allspice sort of thing, but it's all natural ingredients. It's just dried herbs and garlic powder I use a lot. And just using different spices and what is it that curry, and just to like, I put curry in my chicken soup and it's so good. I'm actually salivating again. I probably should eat. I just ate. I'm so hungry. Talking about food always makes me salivate. But yeah, so the power of spices is awesome. Unfortunately, unless you're apparently from the Southwest. So, but that's all. But like I said, it sounds like you made really good food, and you can always season your own food, after the fact. But yes, but just to put a little focus on how powerful spices can be, because when people think that eating healthy, it means just like not fun food, like cardboard food. And that's just not how it is. Cause I love food, but when you start to eat cleaner, and like your mom's been doing this for decades, but you don't want those highly sodium saturated fat things. I think we talked about this before. Like it no longer becomes enjoyable because you're no longer desensitized to sugar. Like yesterday, I made hot chocolate and my daughter was like, this is really chocolatey. And I made it from like cocoa and it's cocoa and maple syrup and a little bit of cinnamon, or not cinnamon, vanilla. So it's like from scratch with milk. And she's like, what? She's like, it's really chocolatey. I said, chocolatey? And she goes, yeah, it's not sweet enough. I'm like, okay, we're having a communication breakdown here, because for me, I think chocolate's sweet. But she's a teenager. She eats sugary food. She eats candy. So to her palate is used to higher sugar content. I'm like, oh my God, this is so sweet. How can you say this is sweet? I put a tablespoon of sugar in there. I mean, just because I knew she'd be fussing about it, and a little bit of maple syrup. Oh no, it was a teaspoon, not a tablespoon. And but there was definitely sweetness in there. I thought it was way too sweet. So because she's so sensitive, or I'm so sensitive to sugar, but she's not. So as you start to eat cleaner, I mean, she's healthy, and I don't worry about her at all. But as we start cleaning up our food, we do become more sensitive to sugar and salt and sodium in processed foods. But real food,
I have noticed that for sugar for me.
Yeah.
Because I used to be able to eat very sweet things without a problem. And now it's like half a cookie and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of sugar in it. Like half a little cookie and it's like, wow, there's a lot of sugar.
I always pair it with a
and
fat.
then like, and that's enough. Like, ooh, I can't even do anymore.
Yeah, I always pair it with a fat. And I was thinking this today because I made muffins yesterday and I put way too many chocolate chips in there because Holly likes chocolate. I make these banana muffins that are awesome. I half the sugar that it calls for, less than half actually. It's always like not even what it calls for, because I put, the bananas are ripe, so those are sweet. And but I always have it with butter, cream cheese, but this morning I was in a hurry. I was going to my workout, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna take some milk. So I have it with milk. If I had that same muffin with water, I would have a stomach ache. But because I had it with milk, it slows the absorption of the sugar, so you're not getting that hit to your blood system. So pairing with fat, that's why you have bread with butter, bread with oil, because it slows down your butt, because starches convert to sugar in your bloodstream, so it slows it so you don't get that sick feeling. Now that doesn't mean eat a bag of cookies with a big glass of milk. You won't feel sick, but I can tolerate a little more, and even a small amount. I need some sort of fat to go with it so I don't feel sick, and then I get to enjoy it, and it was really good. But I was going to work out, so I didn't feel bad because I was just going to burn it off anyways. It was a tiny muffin. So that's good. That's great. I love it. That's good points there about spices, and healthy food doesn't have to be boring, and you can always season your own food. So
Yes.
actually I should post that spice I use. It was really hard to get during the pandemic, so I found it and I took all but 2 bottles. Well, okay, to be fair, it was only 4. There was only 6 there. So did I take 3? Did I leave 3? I feel really bad, but I love this so much because it's not crap. It's not full of crap. It's not full of like MSG and all this junky stuff. So now it's easier to get, but I did feel almost sort of bad. A little bit too. Yeah, I think I took 4 and left 2. But I use it all the time. I put it on chicken, and one time I forgot to put it on. And it's just olive oil and this spice, and my daughter loves it, which is amazing. So yeah, it can make a little goes a long way. So that's awesome. Thanks, Leanne. Any questions? Anything else to share? No? Awesome. Jennifer, Kara, iPhone, do you have anything to share? Any questions? Anything, Kara? Jennifer? Jennifer?
I can share. I'm just having technical difficulties. There we are. This week for me, it's not really a question, it's just a share.
Yeah.
So I had and I think I wrote about this in the coaching app. This week is our really, really tough week at work with Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales. It's our busiest, craziest, most stressful time at work. And I totally like backslid into some habits. Too tired to cook, too tired to get groceries in the house, too tired to plan meals. And I saw how quickly like that disintegrated the whole, like, I was like, wow, that really is the backbone for me of eating healthy. I did maintain healthy breakfast every day. I was like, all right, I'm going to start with a healthy breakfast. So at least I have that one down. And then finally yesterday, I was like, enough is enough. I got to make time to get groceries. And I made time. Like there was that whole looking at your schedule and looking at everything. I was like, I've got to find a time that I could at least swing by and pick up groceries. Like I can order them. And I'm like, I don't even care if I have to pay for the to be picked up. I'm like, we can't, you started like ordering Chinese food and all this stuff. And it's just, because we were just tired, can't cook, didn't have the food in the house.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like I said, I was trying to not be too hard on myself, realizing my best this week, and probably every year that we have this stupid company, my best this week is going to be a lot lower. It just, like my best is not going to be where I can normally be because it is just a hard week for us. And I just,
absolutely.
I wish I'd gone into it with a little more like thought of like, maybe I should have pre-cooked meals, like maybe double back. Cause I've emptied out everything in our freezer that I could eat. Like, I'm like, here's this soup. Well, my mystery soup. We're having that for dinner. I'm like, I'm not picking out anything. I'm like, now the freezer's empty. I'm like, okay, great. Now I have nothing.
Yes.
So
that's great. You made so many great points there. First of all, it's funny because when I was coming home I don't know what made me think of this morning, but I was coming home from my workout and I was thinking about what you're talking about, doing your best. I think I was thinking about stress points in your life, when you get married, when you get divorced, when you move, when you get a new job, when you lose a job, when you have a child, when you become an empty nester. These are, or times during the year, like accountants, there's some accountant friends that I have, during tax season, they're just going balls to the wall and they're just ticking time bombs. I know. And so those are survival modes. Like there are times in our life when we just got to go into survival mode. I remember, God bless my child. He would not sleep. He was, he did that first year. He was adorable, but I kind of wanted to, leave him on the back step just for a little while, but then the neighbors would hear him crying. So he just wouldn't sleep. And so those times you're just doing the best that you can to keep everyone alive, keep us from sliding into anyone calling social services, you set the bar low. And that is a season. That is not forever. So when those seasons happen, it's so important to be gentle with yourself, whether it be Thanksgiving Day or during like a Black Friday event. Like I know I was going balls to the wall all weekend doing different things. So just think of it. This too shall pass. This is not forever. And it's so important to remember that in that. And I love how you use the expression is like, I did my best. Yeah. And like we talk about in Don Miguel Ruiz, sometimes your best is here and sometimes it's here. But the fact that you started with a healthy breakfast is aces. That's amazing because you're taking mindful steps. You're paying attention to like, okay, this is all I got. And also the whole fact that you, the making the time. It's like, okay, I just got to look at my schedule and see when I can do this. Like I squeezed in going to Costco yesterday because we were out of so many things. I got no protein in the house, So I'm like, okay, if I go, because I worked out in Lake City yesterday. I can stop gas and get, and it, and so it was like tight. It was tight. Couple things didn't get done. I'm going to have to do them on the weekend. That's okay. Because I had to get the protein, but I heard this really great thing in my coaching today. And it was, changing the mindset from, I don't have enough time to, I'm choosing not to do that right now. I'm prioritizing other things. So there are times in our life when we're going to have to prioritize the business. We're going to have to prioritize sleep. We're going to have to prioritize, things that just need to get done. Like you can't get around it. But the fact that you took steps, you found ways to weave those healthy practices into your life in some capacity, that's a really big win for you, for anyone, but for you, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Because even when you were talking about it, I was like, that sounds really stressful.
It was really stressful. And it was progress over perfection for sure. I mean, I forgot some things at the grocery store. There's things that I didn't come home with. There's things I accidentally hit double. I'm literally at 6 a.m. ordering groceries. Like, I got to get this in. I just have to do it. And so I came home and I'm like, well, why did I wanted 2 apples, not 4. Okay, I'll cook something with apples later, whatever. Moving on. So,
Right.
But I have apples. I have food in the house now. So
yes.
anyways, and not falling into the all or nothing thinking, because I think this would have totally crashed me into being like, oh, forget it. I'm just off. Like I'll deal with that next year, January 1st, and just blow it off. So
yeah. Oh, that's so great. Gee whiz.
So,
It's like cue the deer. You just hit all the great points. This is
it
what
doesn't feel like it, but it was like, it feels like baby steps. But
yeah, you're the poster child for what happens when you are coachable. Like when you stop and you listen and you say, no, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to make choices for me. I'm going to put my health first in some capacity, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't need to start over tomorrow. I can do a little bit today. Like, yeah, you hit all the points.
all right.
We're going on tour. Because that is, it's so, we get into that spin cycle in our head. And someone was talking about this woman who she was complaining to her therapist saying like, it's like everything was just driving her crazy. And she said, my dishes, like my stupid dishwasher, my crappy dishwasher, I have to run it twice for the dishes to get clean. So the therapist goes, well, then run your dishwasher twice. Like we make it into something so much more than it is. And when we can like just kind of stop and breathe and go like, all right, what can I do right now? And so I think it's so true. It's awesome. So we try not to blow it out of proportion, do what we can, and then move on and wait for the storm to pass, as I hear it rumbling outside, right on cue. So yeah, that's awesome, Jennifer. That was a great share. And I think a lot of people can benefit from that. That's why I love these sessions, because it's not just about you sharing, which is amazing because you get to hear yourself say it. And that's it, like telling someone else, teaching someone else is like learning twice. And so telling someone else, you hear yourself saying it, which is so powerful. But then there's other people going like, oh yeah, I can do that too. I could make small steps. I could just make, I can focus on one meal or whatever the case may be. So that's amazing. So well done. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have anything else to share? Kara.
Hi.
Hi, Kara.
So actually that is like perfect segue for one of the things that I wanted to say. It's because I'm staring at the form. I was excited that I would actually get to call in today for the live Q&A instead of watching the replay. And but I'm like looking at the little form to like try to prompt myself to be able to take some notes.
Yes.
And I just could not think of anything. I could not articulate it. But then, Karen, Jennifer, and Leanne all get in there and they all have these like great things that actually totally applied. So I love the idea, which I'm terrible about planning meals. I'm just terrible. I shouldn't say that. And I know I shouldn't say that, but at this point, just to make my point, like I'm just not comfortable with it. I need to learn how to do it. And when things are crazy busy, which they've been so crazy busy, And it's not that I'm not hungry. I am hungry. I don't have time, or I don't want to take the time.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of planning ahead would
Mm-hmm.
combat that. And
Yes.
so it's kind of like this light bulb of like, oh, that's why meal planning is so important. And so if I could try to plan ahead and
Yes.
and have that stuff ready. And so this week, I mean, I did have a few things. So I used your trick of, buying some apples and washing them right away, and so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're just there ready to grab.
Yeah.
So I did that a couple times, and then so at least I was getting some real food, but definitely not doing a good job of like having regular calorie intake. And then I end up being super cranky, hangry, or when I do get to eat, I inhale everything.
Mm. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like, okay, slow down, be mindful. And sometimes it works. And then other times, it's like 3/4 of the way through the cupcake, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what just happened?
Yeah.
So
That's how it was with my Amazon shopping last Friday. I don't really know what happened, but I have all these things in my front door. Yeah. Forgetting to eat. Sometimes it is some day of those days when you're so crazy busy, it is a fluctuation between like forgetting to eat to ravenous, like 0 to 60. And that's how I remember we were driving in town one time, and I think I skipped lunch and we were stopping for dinner on the way to Nutcracker or something. And I wasn't hungry, like someone's gonna die if I don't eat right now. Like, I mean, it was immediate. And all I could focus, like, where are we stopping for dinner? Where are we getting food? Is there a menu online? Can I pre-order? Like, it was, yeah, it's just not a good feeling. And then I don't even remember that meal because I was just so hungry. So like going back to that, like, yeah, having those snacks, like I usually have, like at the beginning of the week, I usually throw snacks in my bag, but then I don't need one at some point. So there's always one. So when I reached in my bag today and there was nothing in there, I'm like, okay, I'm going straight home. You'll be fine. Because I like to have carbs and protein. So it's always like just a granola, or like a protein bar or something, like some of the nuts or something, like something really simple, but I like it. But that took time. That took time to develop that habit, to have those paired responses, like when you're having those Pavlovian responses. When I wake up this morning, I woke up and my alarm went off. I turned off my light. I sat up and I went to reach for my water. It wasn't there. I left it in the bathroom, but it was like, I didn't even think about it. Like, and then I didn't notice it until it wasn't there. I'm like, where's my water? So I just left it on the counter, getting ready for bed, but no big deal. But yeah, but when we start to have those systems in place, when we can, because life is so unpredictable, I mean, like let's say, that's why I say focus on your bookends, focus on the beginning of the day and the end of the day, because those are the times of the day that you have most control over. Especially if you can get up before your kids. That was my turning point. When I started getting up before the kids, oh my God, that changed everything, because I could actually focus on me and not just get up. Like, when I almost get anxious when I see those television shows where the kids come in and wake up the parents. I'm like, now you started your day with kids. It's like waking up with warts. It's like, geez, can I get my coffee first? I am not adulting yet, so, but it's so funny because, looking at your, like, when do you have time? And if you don't have any time, something's got to give, because it can't be your health. And it oftentimes is our health. And that's the real problem, is that we're sacrificing ourselves for what? And that's why the time diary is so important. And I've had several people say, oh my God, I didn't realize how much time I spent on Candy Crush or whatever. And I was in a meeting the other day. I'm like, I'm taking Spider Solitaire off. I slipped back into that thing. I was like, oh, I just play a game while I'm watching the show. No, I can't do it. I can't go halfway. Like some people can't have one cookie. I can't play one game of Spider Solitaire. And I realize that now. So it's gone. It's gone. It's not coming back. And so it's like knowing and now it's like, oh, I feel like, there's people around. There's things I can do. And I'm getting so much more done, but I don't feel overwhelmed. So yeah, so using the best of the time where you have to yourself to get things done for yourself is really key. I mean, that sounds pretty obvious, but I've never been the kind of person that just wants to hit the ground running. Like when I wake up in the morning, I want mo time, I want to be able to not just even ease into the day, because I get up, I put on my light, I drink my water, I go to the bathroom, I go work out. So I'm not like just, well, Saturdays and Sundays I do have, and my slippers are on and I'm, listening to my meditations and, it's a lot more relaxed, but it's just so critical to find that time where you can take care of yourself. And it doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 5 minutes. 5 minutes to say, okay, just set your head straight, get it ready. Like when I sit down in the morning, it takes me 30 seconds to say good morning to this kid and say, all right, we have things to conquer today. We are capable. I'm good enough, smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. Not exactly that. But, it's like I remind myself, I have purpose, I have meaning, be kind with yourself, but also get the job done. Overcome those obstacles, get done what you can get done. So, and that takes me like maybe a minute. I do some breathing and then I get right into it. And then I open my calendar, I set my alarms, so I try to be as consistent as possible. And then the rest of the day happens like, so, because if I don't have those pillars, if I don't have those systems in place, everything goes out the window. And Jennifer was a great example of what you did. Like, okay, where do I have time? And I have time for breakfast. I get a good breakfast in every morning, and I can figure out, I can order it online. And so I got 4 apples instead of 2. Like, let's roll with it. Right. Like it was just, and be gentle with yourself, because you're going to use your energy for something. So let's not use it for beating ourselves up and going into the spin cycle. We could be using it or playing spider solitaire. So don't do that. Yeah. So that's great, Kara. I love that. Did you have anything else to add to that?
No, that was the main thing, was just realizing like I do need to, how I am about planning. Like I want every minute accounted for. And then the problem with that is a hiccup occurs and it throws the whole thing off. So it's like you're trying to build in that extra time so there's cushion. But the meal planning part is just like, okay, I definitely see the value in thinking ahead, planning ahead, having that stuff ready to go.
Yeah.
So I think part of it too is just when I was younger, back in my 20s, like it's like sleep too. Like sleep back in my 20s, I could get by with an hour of sleep, no problem. It's totally fine. And food, same way. It's like I can go the whole day. It's totally fine. But no, not anymore. It wreaks havoc on everything. It sets me back 2 or 3 days if I
If I don't eat consistently, I gain weight, like without fail. It doesn't last because it's usually just inflammation. But if I don't eat, like I will, the scale will be up because I'll feel it. I'm like, ugh. And then when I do like attempt to get my protein in first, and then my fats and everything else, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling lean, so it's there's something to this. It's not just it's not just magic. But yeah, no, so you make a really good point. Mary, did you have anything to add? We're kind of over time, but we started late because of my technical difficulties. I heard some hissing. Mary, are you there?
Yeah, no, that's okay. We've gone past, so that's okay.
I know. Well, we didn't start till 4:39 or 3:39 because I sent out the wrong Zoom link.
Well, yeah, I couldn't get into the one on my calendar, so
Yeah, and then I went into the one anyway, so I'll figure it out for next week for sure. Yes. So yeah, everyone, great feedback, sticking with real food, planning your meals, being gentle with yourself, resting when you need rest, understanding this is just a season, getting in steps when you can, ramping up your goals again if you've been off the wagon. There's no off the wagon, but if you're getting back into your habits, Like, this is all great stuff. You guys, thank you so much for sharing today. Mary, did you have anything though?
No, I don't. We've got, it's okay.
Okay. No. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening in. I hope this was valuable for everyone watching the replay. Know that you're welcome to join. Would love to have you here on the call. I will post this in the Facebook group tomorrow morning. And yeah, you can always submit questions. You can message me with any questions. And there's exciting things really quickly. I've got a bingo challenge that I'm going to release tomorrow. It's fun things that we can do through. It's going to be just goofy things, but fun things to make this. I did this with my boot camp several years ago, and it was a huge hit. So we're going to do a little bingo challenge. I'm going to add prizes in. I'm going to do a weekly draw starting tomorrow, a random draw to for people in the group, not just based on participation. And then on Sunday, I'm sending out in the email, there will be the I can't remember. It's very pretty. It's surviving the holidays basically. But I made it for the teachers last year at this middle school I went to, and they loved it. So I'm going to share that in the email on Sunday. So thanks for coming out. Have an amazing week. You are doing amazing things for yourself. And I will see you in the group soon. Take care. God bless. Love you. That's a command. And we'll talk to you soon.